Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to another live show. I'm here with Lee Judges. How are we?
Yeah, how are we doing?
From tennis to football. We're back. We're back in our comfort zone. Well, that was pretty comfortable yesterday.
Yeah. I enjoy a bit of tennis. It's better than the transfer window, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it is for me. I really can't deal with the stress of a transfer window and trying to... 1% of the transfer window is actually talking about players we're signing, and 99% is speculating about other people and trying to guess thoughts. Yeah. And that is... I've got to say, it gets boring after a while. But then what they do is they inject it with another target and you go, oh, this is exciting, let's talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
which is exactly what's happened today.
In what we do now, we have to keep our little toes, I suppose, stuck in the hot water of the transfer. Yeah. When realistically, I'd rather be completely out of it. I hate it.
You'd rather just not talk about Arsenal for 2 months, come back for pre-season.
Come back, see what happens in pre-season and go from there, because, all this speculation stuff and all that, if the rumours were right now, Arsenal would have signed 30 players by now.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
I mean, we've only signed 3, 2 that I've never heard of, and one that I do.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're coming with all this enthusiasm, guys.
Everybody's going mad about this transfer window at the minute, James. We've signed one player that's improved our team from last year.
Yes.
That is the reality of it all. So let's be excited. Edu told us, so I'm still waiting.
Right, let's go into everything from today. But as we were sort of referring to there, Lee and I are covering Wimbledon on DR Sports. If you guys are into your tennis, we are covering all that, and the women's Euros as well as being covered from next week on DR Sports as well. So do go check all that out if you're interested in things outside of Arsenal, and that can include football. There's still all the football content being covered, the women's Euros and Wimbledon, as I mentioned. So lots of sport going on. You're into your cricket as well, aren't you?
I do. I do enjoy a test match starts tomorrow. England versus
well, there
India.
you go. We're not covering it, but if you like it, watch it.
Yeah, I think it's Edgbaston, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, message Lee on Twitter, then you guys can have some fun
cricket
over the cricket stuff. Okay, so there have been some fresh links, but before we go into it, we've got to do this in order. They're coming off the back of this Raphinha stuff. I can't believe we're still here talking about it after Paul Robbie at 8 PM or wherever it was the other night had to kind of randomly go live with the breaking news that Chelsea looked like they were going to beat us to Raphinha. And now the plot thickens, because it's not just about Arsenal and Chelsea and him supposedly getting the move to southwest London. It's now looking like Barcelona have managed to stump up the cash. And that's the move I think we all expected he wanted, and now it's looking like it might be possible.
Said it all along. I say it and I say it now. It's not in hindsight neither. If the player, you ask the question, do you want to come to Arsenal or not? If he says, well, I'd rather go Barcelona, right, see you later, move on. Me and Robbie had this discussion the other day. I'm not into it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to play for the Arsenal, look, listen, Jesus wanted to come to the Arsenal. You know what I mean? Had other offers, but wanted to come to Arsenal. So straight away, love that.
Yeah.
But Raphinha doesn't want to come to Arsenal. He wants to go to Barcelona. So let him go to Barcelona. Chelsea fans, we're enjoying it. Ultimately, he don't want to go there neither. So, he's got his heart set on Barcelona. I don't see why we've been wasting our time with it. I had no enthusiasm for it when it came out. I've got no enthusiasm for it now.
But you don't think that there's nothing wrong with having to convince a player? Because if you're a player like Raphinha, right, who... your quality, you play for Brazil, or I imagine he plays for Brazil. He wants to play Champions League football, at least get the right next step that is going to be the best thing for his career. Do you not think there's something in, actually, if you can convince a player like that to come to Arsenal, they go, you know what, we've spoken about it, you've sold me, I'm in. I mean, isn't that a good thing in itself? You're getting someone with ambition, you're getting someone of real quality. I don't think everyone has to... definitely from minute one go, I want to come to Arsenal.
I agree with what you're saying there, but what it is you've also got to be very, very careful you're not being played, and we've been played. The reason that Arsenal and Chelsea have been in there is to give them a little bit but it's really just to force Barcelona to make their move. That's what it is. And listen, we found out we went for Lavarovic in January. Everybody's going, at least we went for him. But then the player comes out, there's no way he's going to go because he wanted Juventus. So after one day, you go to him, do you want to come to Arsenal? Well, I'd rather go to Juventus. Right, okay, thank you very much, and move on to the next one. We're wasting time on this, we need a player, I think it's quite, 60 million You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, I say people will have a go at me and all that. Zaha, Gnabry are more realistic targets because they've got a year left of their contract, going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Go for one of them. You know what I mean? Why all this thing for Raphinha? And now what I don't like about it is, we don't want him anyway because he's Saka's replacement. We ain't spending all that money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not having that. Before a week, this time last week, everybody was putting Brazilian images, emojis up and wearing the flag and all that, and wanting photos with Brazilian flags and wanting the Brazilian shirt and all that. Listen, you know, I've been an Arsenal fan and I've been in this regime for long enough to know, do not get excited until you see the man with the shirt.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which we have seen now with
Gabriel Jesus. So we're going to touch on that in a little bit. So the Raphinha thing is left in a very interesting situation because we've now got a guy who there is still a chance he chooses Arsenal. But it's very, very unlikely because Chelsea are in the mix. Obviously, they can offer things we can't at the moment, which we all know about. And Barcelona is his number one choice. So do we just kind of resign ourselves to the fact he's going to Barcelona and that's it, move on?
I'll be very, very surprised if he doesn't end up at Barcelona. Very surprised.
I think the reason I'd be surprised is it's not like all three clubs have kind of just joined the race in the last month and they're fighting it out. Everything with Barcelona has been agreed for a long, long time, actually. That's what Fabrizio Romano keeps saying anyway, that the personal terms with between Raphinha and Barcelona have never been an issue and they've wanted him since February and all this. So it would suggest that it's just a case of Barcelona stumping up the cash to do it. Now, they did tweet earlier today that something like 10% of their rights have been sold to La Liga. I didn't really read into it. I'll be honest. It kind of bores me, that side of it. I mean, it's interesting to a degree. You know, they're essentially, I think, selling rights to acquire funds to then go and reinvest. You know, they basically have these financial issues. But it's interesting that the announcement of that sort of coincides with more rumours that actually for Raphinha, not even rumours, reports, that Raphinha has basically delayed the decision to wait and see if they can stump up the cash. Yeah,
exactly. You know, I mean, so what does that tell you?
It means that he's
and then like if they can't raise the cash, I'll go to Arsenal or Chelsea. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want him.
I'd still have him.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have someone that wants to play for Arsenal, and you know, listen.
But do you think they're definitely out there? Do you think someone of Raphinha's quality who definitely wants to play for Arsenal is out there?
Jesus did.
Yeah, but you know, another winger, another player in that position.
Zaha.
You think he
would bite your hand off to come to Arsenal?
I think he's a very, very good player. So I don't think there's a lot in it, but I don't know if he's quite as good as Raphinha.
Well, no, like, you know what I mean, like Raphinha.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Let's get it right. You know what I mean? He is a good player. You know what I mean? And it's nice that, you know, we had a chance. Well, we was trying to get him. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's doomed to fail.
I know I just said that about Zaha. I don't actually know if I mean that. I mean, he could play across the front three. Zaha, probably more comfortable in all three positions.
Who are Arsenal going for? Genuinely going for? Because how I look at it, have they gone for Raphinha now and they're not going to get him? Is that going to satisfy Arsenal fans? I'm not going to be like, you know. Yeah. There's other players out there. It'd be very, very interesting what Arsenal don't look to spend 50 million and then not go and look. And I'd be very, very.
But this is what worries
me. Surprised if they don't bring in a wide player now, because when you're looking at spending 50, 60 million pound on one, you must want one, mustn't you?
But this is what worries me, is that they were supposedly willing to spend 80 million on Vlahovic and didn't get anyone.
Well,
now,
exactly.
I'm all for waiting to get the right target, and if it's not the right man, you don't do it. But I think that logic probably applies more to January, when you're in the middle of a season and there's 100%. Other moving parts. But in the summer, if you can't get your first choice, you've got to go for your second choice. And if that second choice is a slightly different profile to your first choice, then you've got to make it work. You know, football can sometimes be far too rigid and far too, you know what I mean? If he's not quite the perfect player, then I don't know if you've got to make it work sometimes. You've still got to add quality.
I honestly don't think, realistically, as if you're in the football side of that thing, right, you actually have got a one target.
Yeah.
Because basically you're putting all your eggs in one basket and all that. I don't believe that is the case. There are options. There's Raphinha's one, someone else be another. Jesus is one, so-and-so's another. So I don't think that there's like, oh, that's your one target and all that. Like, I don't think it works like that, because if I was a player and they come to me and said, oh, we couldn't get Raphinha, so we want you now, I wouldn't be so keen about going to an Arsenal or a Man United or something. You don't really want me, you know what I mean? So I don't think that it works like that. I think that he's very, very high on the profile, but I think there's 2 or 3 other options. There's got to be, and if there isn't, then it's a worry.
Okay, well, Don Robbie's death stare with another super chat. Thank you for always supporting the channel, always being here to discuss. Says, we're doing our classic incremental bids. It just annoys clubs and players. Just spend it, man. Our negotiations go on for so long because this and then another club sweeps in and takes them. There's definitely a pattern of that at Arsenal. There's a lot of, we're interested, we're
skinflinting, aren't we? Like, you know what I mean? And it is annoying. Listen, we didn't do that last year with Ben White. It was annoying, you know what I mean? Ben White. Someone said, oh, we don't want to overpay for Raphinha. Well, we overpaid for Ben White. Let's get that right. Why? Because we really wanted him. There's not that many players that can play the position that we want. You know, ball playing central defender. So we went over the top on him. I don't care. I like Ben White, but I'm saying that he was more. You know, he's not a £50 million player. But we paid that because that's what we want. So if you really want Raphinha, then stump up the money. Yeah, because you've done it in the past. I like the Ben White sign because I went we paid over the odds for someone. You know, it's like if you've got a car, you don't really want to sell it. Yeah. The only reason you're going to sell it is if someone comes and gives you a mad offer. If they just say, oh, I'm giving you like 10 grand for it, well, I'm not really that bothered. Like, but if we give you 30 grand, all right, you're reluctant to sell. You know, they're not going to sell Raphinha for a cut price. The only way you're going to get cut price deals is if they're a year in their contract.
Absolutely right. Wayne with the Super Chat says, nothing wrong with seeing a small opportunity and making an attempt on a player like Raphinha. Nothing beats a trial but a failure. I get Wayne's point.
I get what you're saying.
Maybe that was never really on the cards. Do you think the other players we've been linked with, Trossard at one point, a few other wingers who aren't at Raphinha's level and of his calibre, and maybe an opportunity was seen and they went for it. Akol says, hi guys, live from Morocco. Hi Akol, thank you very much for joining. Blessed one says no Zaha, so he's not happy about that. A few people asking about Noah Lange. We'll talk about him in a sec because that is the player we've been linked with today. LXZ says we have Pepe. Crazy that I've not seen any links to Pepe and another side. Shows how difficult it is to actually move players on when they haven't been performing at the levels that we kind of expect.
Well, none of it. I thought Leno would have gone by now. Yeah. If I'll be honest, I thought that Bellerin would have been, not in training no more. I'm seeing him at training. Guendouzi, I think, not quite happened, but it looks like it's going over. Torreira's still at the club. Yeah. So there's a lot of players still at the club that I thought would have gone. So if these players are not going, maybe it's the same with trying to get players. But listen, we need a midfield. Don't get me wrong, I love to get Raphinha, but I want a central midfield player and a defensive cover before I'll take them over a Raphinha any day. And I've said that all along.
Yeah. Jean says, give more playing time for Pepe. Yeah, but Arteta for 2.5 years has been very reluctant to do that.
Doesn't rate him, Jones.
No.
Does not rate him. Simple as that.
Ryan in the Super Chat says, should we not go for a left wing instead of Raphinha as a right winger?
Good point.
Yeah. I mean, Noah Lange maybe fits that a little bit more. So let's actually go into that story. Noah Lange plays for Club Brugge, was formerly at Ajax. Very, very tricky, exciting winger. I've not really seen a lot of him. That's just his profile. He's known as one of those kind of very exciting wingers, wide players. We linked to him. The story is that supposedly he's kind of our backup now. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't think he's the same profile as Raphinha, even though they're both tricky, exciting wingers. I'm pretty sure he's right-footed and plays off the left. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And also, I think, and I don't really like labelling players this kind of stuff because people say it and they run away with it or whatever, but apparently he's got a bit of a temperament on him. I've heard a lot of people have been saying that. I think there was something about sort of Ten Hag basically letting him go because of that, essentially. he's supremely talented, but I can't see Arteta working with a player who, isn't kind of on the right side of things.
And also, we don't want players that are going to be squad players. We want players that are going to come in to the team and strengthen the team and make this team better than what it was last season. At the moment, Jesus has done that, but no one else. So it is a big worry for me.
And actually, you make a really good point, because people kept asking me, well, what's the difference between Raphinha and Bissouma? We've already got Partey and Saka, so why do you want Raphinha, not Bissouma? My thing was, because Raphinha actually starts for us and improves us. That was the big thing for me. Noah Lange, I don't know if he does. He might have the potential. I've not really seen enough of him. But it is a strange link, and I think it's one that's kind of just been... I'm not saying it's not legitimate, but it feels like it's kind of just been thrown out there, and it probably makes a bit of sense. He's been performing well. We've been linked to him many times. So I don't know, guys. If you have watched Noah Lange, let us know about him more in the comment section. Is he unfairly tarnished with this, bad attitude kind of paintbrush that people have used, or I don't know. Let me know, because I do need to kind of learn a little bit more about him. Paul the super chat says, I'm sure we have more targets. We are just keeping it quiet. I mean, that's very possible.
Yeah, very possible. But also, we've been here before, Paul. We know that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, well, Gunning You Down says exactly. It's Suarez all over again. I remember that summer with Luis Suarez. I mean, I remember we bid 30 million, didn't get him, fine. I then remember we bid 40 million, didn't get him, and they were talking about this release clause. Yeah, so we went with 40 million £1, which was a joke. And I think at that point there was no chance of getting him, because I almost think we just insulted them beyond sort of repair.
Yeah, we took the mickey, didn't we? Yeah. We took the mickey, you know what I mean? And went over by £1, you know what I mean? I'll tell you what, Arsenal lost a lot of credibility for that, going back over it. And I think that they never quite got over that stigma, really. And we do at this moment in time try and hag a little bit, but listen, other clubs are getting deals done at this moment in time, and we're not, and we need to,
but we're not doing nothing. A couple of weeks ago, it felt like we were being very lazy in the window, and now, not lazy, slow and reactive. But now, while it has slowed down a little bit in the last 5 to 6 days, Arsenal is still moving.
Not in the direction that we want it to. We've not improved, any areas that we needed to improve on, apart from Jesus, which is one. And is that improved over, the Aubameyang? We've now got going into this season, this season we've got Jesus and Eddie Nketiah going into the season. Last season it was Aubameyang and Lacazette. Have we improved on that, or have we not? That's the big question. For me, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And that's a worry.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we've got to be excited.
You're going to keep referencing.
Oh, I am going to keep referencing.
And you should, to be fair. Oz the super chat says, Lee, Halloween is around the corner. Have you ever considered dressing up as, I don't know who this is. I don't
know who that is. You know what I mean? So.
Bobby something. Sometimes Oz, to be fair, is always contributing to the streams and sending in comments and stuff, but when I don't know who it is, I'm always a bit on edge. I'm like, who am I talking about here? But anyway, what else? There was another comment here. DJ says Gnabry not going to downgrade wages to play in Europa. But who says he needs to downgrade wages? I know he wants quite a bit, but Arsenal are not, they're a rich club. Let's see if anyone's saying anything about Noah Lange. Trey Quigley Benny says Raphinha is an opportunity signing. Chance was there, but now it's gone. Move on and get Yuri Tielemans and Martinez and wow us with another surprise player. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Let's see what everyone is saying. Barry says, hi James and Lee, one of AFTV's biggest fans, saying hello on vacation from Antigua, staying in Enfield. Barry, thank you so much for the kind words. Enfield. So he's in vacation. So he's here on vacation from Antigua. Fair enough. Nice.
In Enfield.
Lovely. Cameron with a super chat says, Lee, you ain't getting a 6th this summer. I think he means like a Basuma type player. You know why? Because we have got Partey, Lokonga and Elneny. Lokonga is our future 6. Vamos Lokonga. So Cameron's a big fan. What do you think of Lokonga?
I like Lokonga, but he's not ready yet. I'd like to see Lokonga go out on loan for a year in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Playing in the Premier League, getting
like for Southampton or something.
Southampton.
Yeah.
Brentford, someone like that.
I think he is going to stay though. I think he's going to play a lot more.
Yeah, because he's probably going to play a lot of Europa League games. I get that, but I think that last season we missed out on a little bit there because I think we should have probably gone out alone, but we didn't have enough strength in depth, so we had to keep him. So that's not fair on him. So look, listen, I'm not going to judge him at this moment in time. I think he's young. Showed flashes of what he could do. That's what you want to see, but ultimately he needs a big season this season.
I agree. Quinton says no, Lange hasn't got the attitude, he's lax, and Tony Smith says he's full of himself. So yeah, it's not the most glowing reports. But
we don't need it back.
I'll reserve judgment.
We need someone to come in and improve the team. We need to improve the team. We don't want no squad players. We've just gone and signed Vieira and Marquinhos as squad players. Jesus will come into the team, and it does improve us. But ultimately, where's the midfield improvement? Where's the defensive improvement? Where's this? Where are they? I think, is it 2 weeks now? I think it's 2 weeks.
Till what? Till America?
2 weeks. Well, I think 2 weeks when they play in Baltimore against Everton.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sounds about right.
I think it's the Friday they play.
Okay.
Is it the Friday or the Saturday? I can't
Sounds
remember.
about right. Yeah.
So it's 2 weeks this weekend. Is that game? Don't forget, before that, next Thursday we're in Nuremberg, aren't we?
Yeah.
For a game. I don't look too much in that one because I think that's just like the ones that are not on international duty getting in. But when they go to the main, as I say, the flagship pre-season tours where like the financial clout is because you've got to have your top players here because it's big money and all that. Yeah,
players getting key minutes and all that. And,
so those, I don't know about the Baltimore game, I thought that was put in, but definitely the 2 Orlando games. The players should be in place then, and it don't look like they're going to be.
Well, they're leaving it tight. When the super chat says, "Lee, I love you, but seriously, how can you say we are doing nothing? We've signed 4 players and spent over 80 million. Fabio is a baller who gives Odegaard competition. Definitely an improvement."
So, where's the 4 players? Who are the 4 players?
I think he means
goalkeeper,
Marquinhos, Turner, Vieira, Jesus.
Right, okay. Let's address that then. Like, Turner, is he better than Leno?
Remember Wayne says he loves you, yeah?
I love you too, Wayne. Thank you very much. So is Turner better than Leno?
No. Well, I don't know.
So that
probably
doesn't improve us, like, you know what I mean? Like 2 I've not heard of. Like Fabio is. We're playing against. Who we're playing first game of the season? Crystal Palace. Does he start in that game or does Odegaard start in that game? Me personally, he doesn't start. So where's the improvement? I get what you're saying, but ultimately they're not players. I look at them down the road, and they've bought 3 or 4 players that are going to improve their team straight away. Like their first 11. We've not done that yet, so I'm not going to get excited about players. Look. And I don't mean this disrespectfully because I didn't hear of Tomiyasu. I hadn't heard of Patrick Vieira when he signed. It's blah blah blah. The list is endless on that. Vieira, I'm looking forward to seeing him and all that. But ultimately, at this moment in time, he is not going to be a regular starter. What we need precisely. He might play a few Europa League games and then build his way into the team. But is he going to out Odegaard? Is that what Wayne's saying? Then we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I think he's going to play in the front 3 a bit more. Guys, there are 5.2k in the building. Thank you so much for joining. Smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because every little helps. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and you'll get all the content that comes out. Let's go through some more super chats. Young Gunner says, Edu fumbled Raphinha, and as the judge once said, he's done it again.
There you go. Not learning their lessons, are we?
Mr. 360 says, Noah Lange is better at Club Brugge than Raphinha was at Rennes and and Guimaraes, which I think is one of his former clubs. But I'll still have Gakpo or Neto over both of them. Keep it up, guys. I like Neto. He's one of the players I had in my list of alternatives. Yeah. I want to read you my list of alternatives in a bit, actually. I want to know if you like any of them. Hadi says, watch Lange versus PSG, stole the show, but makes Guendouzi look like Gandhi. Do you see Jesus playing on... I don't know what he means by that. Do you see Jesus playing on the wing and adding another striker? Big up to you. No, I think Jesus plays up front.
Down the middle.
And
he's going to be the main guy.
Yeah.
The reason he's come to Arsenal is because he's going to be the main guy. And that excites me that he is going to be the main guy.
Yeah.
Because I think that at Manchester City he's been a bit part player, if I'll be really honest, you know what I mean, a squad player. Last month or so though of last season he took his opportunity and done really, really well, so hopefully we'll see that side of it. When people, can we go on to Jesus Richarlison?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Compromise. When I said that I prefer Richarlison, it's because Richarlison's more regular player and everything like that. Because he's gone to Spurs, I'm a big fan of his. Like, I ain't no more, by the way. I can't stand him now, like, you know. But I did like him at Everton, like, you know. I watch a lot of Everton games, and he's one of those players that you don't like, but you like him in your team. And you know, I would have actually gone for Richarlison instead of Raphinha, if I'll be honest. That's who I would have gone for, but we haven't got him, because he can play wide and play up front. I mean, like Raphinha can do that as well. Jesus can do that. There are times when I think Jesus will play wide.
Yeah,
I do think that. But look, listen, I like Jesus. I think he's going to be a good player. But I'm going to say this now. In this time, at this moment in time, he is not as proven as Richarlison. That's my opinion. Whether I'm right or wrong, I could be. But my opinion is that, you know, Richarlison was the main man at Everton. Jesus wasn't, but Jesus was playing at Man City.
I'll be honest. Respect your opinion. I disagree. I don't think Richarlison has proven any more or less than Jesus. Richarlison was a starter at Everton, and you know, because of that, is used to playing regular minutes in the Premier League and always being the main man, and you know, he shouldered a lot of responsibility during Everton's, you know, relegation battle, and I thought he came out of it looking good, to be fair, you know, someone who's up for the fight and helped get them through. But for me, and you know, I know that there's a few people on AFTV who had said that they prefer Richarlison, you know, back months ago when we didn't really know what was happening with either player. I still stuck with Jesus then, and I'm glad I did. I stick to it now, not just because he's the player we've ended up getting and Richarlison's gone to Spurs. It might be a profile thing. I really like players like Jesus who are, you know, low centre of gravity, really strong with the ball at their feet, can dribble at you, can, you know, really good close control and skill in tight spaces, gets shots off well, really good runner off the ball. I prefer Jesus personally. For me, personally, I think he's a better player. It's a
great fit. I honestly think how can I say it? If it was the other way round and we'd signed Richarlison and they'd signed Jesus, we'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
and as it's the other way around, we're happy with that. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a lot of difference. I don't know about the slightly different players, if I'll be honest, and all that. Like, I think Spurs will be happy with what they've got. Arsenal will be happy with what they've got. I just like Ricardo. I liked him at Watford. I thought he's gone on a little bit, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to hate him now because of the way he plays and all that, but I like a little bit of that, little bit of skullduggery in
dark arts,
little dark arts, and he's going to go. He's going. Yeah. He's now going into probably the most hated front three in Premier League history, because no one even the pro players don't like Song, do they? Because of his diving antics. That's why they never voted for him in the players' player. No one likes Harry Kane, let's be honest, you know what I mean, like, apart from Spurs fans. And Richarlison, well, I was just talking to some Liverpool fans and he's not very popular anywhere, you know, so there you go.
Okay, well, there you go. I think he's a good signing for Spurs, I will be honest. I do. I think he's...
Yeah, I think he'd be a good signing. I think Jesus will be for us. I think if I'm going to be really honest, Jesus suits Arsenal's style of play a little bit more than Richarlison.
Jesus is exactly what we needed. People think...
Tottenham will still play on the counter, and Richarlison will suit that.
Well, I think
we're a more... possession based.
I think with Spurs, there was a lot of fear about what would happen if they lost Kane and Son through injury. And I think now they've got Richarlison. Listen, he's not as good as Son and Kane, but there's not that same narrative. Like, they've lost, one of their front two, and what are you going to get? Now it's okay. Well, Richarlison steps in, and that's a very, very good option. Do I think 50 million is more than he's worth? Sure, but I mean, what player isn't? As you mentioned, Ben White, what we paid for him, Jesus, who I think is a terrific player, probably is worth 45, but he had a year left on his contract. Teams are going to overpay. That is just kind of the nature of the market these days. And I think for them and the amount of depth he offers across the front three is perfect. For us, I think out and out Jesus is a better player than Richarlison personally, and I've always thought that. I'm not saying it now. You can look back.
No, you've
to
said
a month
that.
Ago.
I'll give you that. You've said that.
But I think Jesus, you're right, suits what we need to a T. Very complete forward in that he's good with his back to goal. He can roll defenders. He can run in behind. He can play wide very, very comfortably and stretch the pitch. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in an Arsenal shirt. And we actually have had a little glimpse of him in an Arsenal shirt.
We have.
Because some footage was leaked today. I wish I could give credit, although we're not actually showing it. But you'll see it online. Gabriel Jesus was walking around the Emirates. There was a photographer there. He was in his kit, in a very big pair of shoes as well. I think they just kind of give you any pair. I saw in the Fabio Vieira, do you remember, the behind-the-scenes video? He put on boots and he said they're a bit big, and I think essentially they just kind of give you any old pair of boots to wear for the photo shoot. Jesus was kind of walking around the Emirates in the red and white. I thought he looked good in it.
Number 9 as well.
Number 9, that's been confirmed. Yeah.
So
yeah,
all done. It's done and done. So look, we needed someone like that. If we be honest, we needed that, and I think we needed to get in somebody like that. Is it an exciting signing? It could be, but. We need other players to make that an exciting signing.
I think if we're to get the best out of Jesus, we absolutely need to add more quality in the wider areas to help Saka and Martinelli and that central midfielder who can, what's the term, pick a lock, just unlock a defence and do something a little special. Tielemans, who someone in the comments earlier said, can I start pronouncing the S on Tielemans? Tielemans, I feel like you don't pronounce the S. I might be wrong. But anyway, a player like him.
Spurs have been linked with him today.
Oh, I saw that, and I didn't want to go into it because I'm not discrediting the source. It just wasn't from a reporter or anything. No. But we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully, that actually doesn't come to fruition. But
I've heard that they are asking for around about 35-40 million, Leicester. And at this moment in time, for a year left of your contract, no one's going to go near that. No one's going to go near.
Not after the season you just had, and that's not me.
No. Yeah. Rightly so. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous sort of talk. 45 million. For Jesus, because he's a forward, is probably just bordering on about right.
Yeah.
But for a midfield player now, no, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Especially when there's other ones out there.
Well, I think Tielemans is a £40 million player, only that, and I think what we saw of him in his sort of first 2-3 years at Leicester is absolutely still in him. Only his last season wasn't particularly great or anything to shout home about, and he's got a year left. I think clubs are basically saying to Leicester, no thanks, and Leicester are kind of hoping someone gets desperate and stumps up the cash. Yeah. Or we're looking at sort of
playing a waiting game,
we're looking at mid-August where someone goes, you know what, let's just
it's poke, but going a little bit going poker at the moment.
I think he'll move. I think he'll move this summer.
I think he will do, because as I said earlier, don't forget you got the World Cup coming up in November, so there's going to be 6 weeks without it. So realistically, you're only getting a couple of months of and then the price goes down even more. So
that's a really good point. Actually,
I think that
that's a really good point.
I think that Arsenal and whoever will be doing the waiting game. Let's see what happens with that one.
Ryan with a super chat says, it really seems like our targets are 26 and under for sure. No ifs and buts. Serge is more 27 than 26. I think the higher ups have aged him out. Your thoughts? Is he more 20? I don't know. Anyway,
listen, I like what Arsenal are doing on that.
I definitely think they've got
James,
a profile.
I like what they're doing on that side. What they're doing is that last season they targeted younger tips from 21 to 22, 23. Yeah. Now they're targeting a little bit higher up, a little bit more experience. You know what I mean? Like 25, Jesus 25, Tillemans is 25. You know what I mean? Experience in the Premier League. I like that, you know what I mean? I think Martinez, I know that we're not signing him or we are and whatever, he's 24, 25, same as Raphinha. So they're looking at that sort of thing to gel with what they've got, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But they've got to get it done.
Yeah.
They've got to get these deals done. But I do like the way that Arsenal are thinking.
No, I like the profile that they're targeting.
I do. I see with Arsenal, whether you think it's right or you're wrong, and I know there's a lot of frustrated Arsenal fans out there, and I'm one of them at this moment in time, but I actually do see the way that they're going. I see there's a plan. It's not like, oh, we just go for him, or we go for him and we go there. I actually see that they've sat down and thought about it and go, right, this is the profile of player that we need to get, and I quite like that.
Yeah. The super chats and comments are flying in. Apologies. So let me just make sure I don't miss any. There was one from Sam Lawrence, a comment saying, James Zaha is a better player than Raphinha. Look what happened when we played their respective sides. Babatunde says, good show, guys. Will our attacks be better or more competitive than the top 5 clubs? I don't understand why midfield is not a priority. A lot of people are feeling that we need to start prioritising midfield a little bit more. Let me just go into these other super chats before I lose them. JD Bog says, what happened to news on Austin Trusty transfer? Well, he's going to get a loan move around Europe. We know that's coming. Julian says, hi James and Lee from America. Was wondering if AFTV will be at pre-season games in America. Excited to see the Arsenal for the first time. Come on, you Gunners. So we won't be in Baltimore, but we will be in Orlando.
We will be in Orlando.
And we're very, very excited about it. So we'll see.
We will be in Orlando. So if you're there, come and say hello.
We'll see you there. I can't believe I've got to spend 5 days with Lee, but it'll be all right. You call me Pratt Man every 2 seconds. You walk in and it's Pratt Man this. What's the numbers, Pratt Man?
52,
and I've got 5 days of it.
52 times apparently I've said that.
Well, I keep count. I am Pratt Man.
I'll look after you.
Thank you. How kind. Benny says, Turner is comparable to Lange. Fantastic shot stopper. He just needs to work on the ball. I won't stand for this Turner negative talk.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not saying that he's negative. I'm not being negative. I'm going to I'll be really honest again.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen him, but because he doesn't sign a Spurs shirt, doesn't impress me.
Oh, that's not enough for you, is it?
No,
it's enough for some.
It is enough for some, but I like seeing him saving shots and doing this and doing that.
Fair enough.
And I'll tell you this now, Leno's too good to be a number 2.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely is.
So improve on that,
yeah.
Mr. Turner.
Yep, very true. Dan says Daniel Podence as a replacement for Raphinha. I really like Podence.
Yeah, Podence is a good player.
But I think he's more of like he can run at players. Like he can be that dribbler, that runner, but I think he's more of a like wide number 10, if that makes sense. Like he prefers to get in those central areas and be creative, but he can play out wide. Let me know your thoughts. CCR 2410 says, big up to the legend Lee and Starboy James. Well, thank you very much.
Starboy?
See, better than Pratt Man.
Well, yeah.
Lee, can you say ultimately, as an American, it makes me chuckle every time you say it? Love for the love.
Ultimately, why is that?
Don't know.
Well, there you go. Ultimately.
There we go.
Come and see me in America, buy me a beer, and I'll say it as much as you like.
Well, don't say it drunk. Renato Super Chat, just contributing, thank you very much. There's another one here. Anik says, Lange's right wing, left wing cover. Sergey, don't know who Sergey is, and Ruiz in. Bench Xhaka.
I've mentioned him today.
Yes, you did. Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah. I've heard I heard a rumour.
ITK Lee is giving you everything, guys, so...
I've heard a rumour that Arsenal are. I'm not saying that anything's happening yet, but they are interested in signing him because he plays for Napoli. He's got 1 year left of his contract. Apparently, my source, which is not HP, actually said that they went for him in January. So would they go back for him again?
Well, if
it does happen,
if something happens. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
If nothing happens, you never heard a thing.
Denied it.
deny
totally
it. Nothing happened. There's no video evidence
But if
or
it
anything.
does, I'll be giving it Billy Big Shoes.
No, and as you should, so fair enough. Renato says, we have built a solid foundation. Any decent addition will bolster our chances to be competitive, get the key signings in, and all else is a bonus.
So what's he saying? We've actually, we've built on a solid foundation.
I think he means we've added Ramsdale, we've got Ben White, Saliba Gabriel, we've got Partey at the base, there's some good youngsters, and he's saying...
Yeah, we have got that, but we also conceded
the,
lots of goals last year.
I know, but I think he's saying add the cheer up, Lee.
No, add what?
I think he's saying any decent addition will bolster our chance to be competitive.
Of course.
Get the key signings in.
Yes.
And all else is about it. He's saying get those 3 or 4 or 5 that can help.
Should they be in now, though? What is it, Renato? Should they be in now? I think they should be. Because he's right what he's saying. There is a good foundation and all that. But buy them. Get the players in now. And let's be excited about going to America and looking forward to it. Like, you know, at the moment, all I'm excited about is your stats on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night in Orlando. Well, I want to be excited by signings, playing, and all that. Like, and at this moment in time, the biggest thing at the moment going to Orlando is the kit launch. I don't want it to be the kit launch. I want to see proper players in that shirt, and I want to see proper play. I want to see us with these players, these top players, going to Orlando. We've got a week really to get some deals done, James. I'm being really honest here, like, you know, I'm not being negative or anything like that. I agree totally with what Renato's saying here. We've got the basis to be a good side, but we need to sprinkle in some top players now. Still no world-class players at Arsenal Football Club. Yeah,
fair enough.
You don't agree, do you?
No, I agree. We don't have any world-class players. I do agree with that. But I do also agree that there's a good foundation there for
I agree with that.
For some quality signings to come in and
let's see them.
Start to elevate. I'm also a big believer in.
I'm not saying I have to be stargazing players that fit in and do the job. You know what I mean? Like Tommy Essu's not a star signing, was he? But he comes in and does the job. I want to I don't really know too much about Martinez, but if he's going to come in and solid up our left hand side, then that will improve us as a team going forward. It doesn't have to be the glow. You know, we don't. Well, I'm not saying that we should be looking at Neymar and people like that. I'm talking solid players that are going to go and give us a solid 8 out of 10 every week.
I am trying to come with receipts and evidence for this next super chat, but Epictetus says Richarlison, he's not happy with me, says Richarlison starts for Brazil, Jesus comes off the bench. Richarlison's game is far more well-rounded than Jesus. James talks pure rubbish. Well, firstly...
I agree with the last bit.
Firstly, thank you for your super chat. Secondly, fair enough, that's your opinion.
We've had it on good authority that don't start all the time in Brazil.
The what? Well, this is what I was going to have a little look at.
Brazilian expert.
I want to have a little look at the receipts, but I can't find. Do you know what? What I'll do, I'll get you off on a tangent in a sec, and then I'm going to try and see how many actually appearances Richarlison's made for Brazil as well as Jesus, and we'll have a little look at the numbers, because Epictetus has spent money to tell me I'm talking rubbish, which is fair enough. I mean, I think where he's got a point is, I'd also heard loosely that Richarlison is more of a starter than Jesus for Brazil, so I actually want to kind of look into that and see if that's true.
That doesn't mean nothing, though, does it?
Well, also,
Jack Grealish doesn't start for England that much, but he's still
that's a good point.
Still a great player.
That is a very good point. I mean?
So I don't go buying onto that. It's about opinions and the manager's style and whatever is blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So I don't buy into that.
He also says Richarlison's game is far more well-rounded than Jesus. I will hold my hands up. I think I did say earlier that Jesus is a more complete forward. I didn't really mean that. I think I meant more for Arsenal's team, where he's going to be asked to do a lot of different things. I think he's very suited to that, where he might have to drop to the right, he might have to play on the left, or in that 10 but drops it, not in the 10, number 9 but has to drop into midfield, and he can score and create. I think they're both pretty rounded forwards. Richarlison's definitely taller and more of a handful as well.
And he plays off the back, off the shoulder. I don't think that Jesus is going to do that. I think Jesus is more. I think that probably Jesus is probably the better forward. That doesn't mean to say he's the better striker. I think that Richarlison will play like more as a counter-attacking player, like Tottenham do with Song and Harry Kane. They counter-attack. Kane drops in deep. counter-attack. Doesn't mean to say that he's not a good player.
Yeah.
It's just that with Arsenal, the way we play is a lot more ball retention going into areas which Richarlison's not as strong at, but he's stronger going off the shoulder.
I still think, it's just my opinion, I still think Jesus is better, but I've said that all along, so don't come
I don't even know how many appearances they've had.
So, out of interest, have a little look here. Gabriel Jesus, World Cup qualification, 21 games, 7 goals, 8 assists. Oh, Richarlison's, please don't be better. 18 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists. So, oh no, I'm looking at that. Oh, hold on. World Cup qualification, he's played far less. Is that just this season? That might just be... No, I think it's all time. So Richarlison hasn't played as much as Jesus for Brazil, apparently. But again, that might have changed recently. International friendlies, 18 appearances. International friendlies, 19 for Jesus, so 1 more there. Copa America, 10 and 10, so 10 each, with, I think, 2 goals and 3 assists for Jesus. So he's got...
So how many internationals are there?
So basically, Jesus' numbers in pure reading look better, but I mean, it's just...
How many internationals have they played? How many games have they played? Forget about it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to... So in total, apparently, is this... The snapshot displays... I think, is this for all time? Yeah, I think this is all time appearances for Brazil. Jesus 55 and Richarlison 36.
Blimey, so they're more experienced on the Brazilian
If anyone wants to
than
go
I
and
thought.
check that on Transfermarkt, I'm really worried that this says just for... No, it's not obviously not just for the season, because they haven't made 36 appearances in one season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 14 goals...
55 appearances.
14 goals for Richarlison, 13 for Jesus, 6 assists for Richarlison, and 3... So, actually, his numbers per game are better, Richarlison's, than Jesus. That's interesting for Brazil. But no numbers on World Cup Yeah, he's barely played in World Cup qualification, apparently. Anyway, this is just a bit of fun for the life. But the point is, they're 2 very, very good players. Doesn't really matter who you think's better. I think the players have gone to the right clubs for what they needed. I think they're perfectly matched for where they've ended up, personally.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good sign. And for anyone, by the way, is going to come at me for saying salty Arsenal fan or whatever, I've been very, very complimentary of Spurs' transfer business and what they're doing. From Fraser Forster as a backup to Perisic, Spence, Bissouma, even Lange I'm not really scoffing at the way others are, and they've got Richarlison coming in. They're doing good stuff, man. I'm worried about them, and I've said that for weeks now.
And if they were to get Tielemans as well, which is
that would hurt.
That would be a big.
In the way it hurt the Bissouma stuff hurt people 2 weeks ago, that would hurt me if we lost. Yeah,
well, not lost, because it doesn't look like we're in for Tielemans, and I don't understand why. I don't know why we wasn't in for Bissouma, if I'd be really honest. Why wasn't we in for these players?
Let me.
There you go.
I'm going to fly through this. I keep missing, so I'm really, really sorry, guys. They are popping up on the screen, the super chats. I think I missed one. My bad. But they're all popping up on the screen as well. Cobby says, I think we need to look beyond player ability. We need to buy nasty, feisty players who are always up for the fight. We've got too many nice guys. I think that's something we've got a little bit better at, actually, recently. BD says, why is Lee so negative?
You can put that the baldy, like, he's paid $179 for the ball. But what is it?
I don't like to reread the insults.
I don't care. It's all right. It's not an insult. It's actually a fact.
Well, yeah, because, but he's not using it in the most pleasant of terms.
I haven't got my wig on today, so I am a baldy, So listen, it doesn't bother me, But so why is the baldy being negative? Well, give me something to be positive about. What is there? Come back with me. What is so positive about Arsenal's transfer window at the moment? To say, look, I'm really positive about it, because I'm not. What is there?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's for the super chat says, news now that De Jong is staying at Barca, so maybe the Tielemans news to United is true. Would love to bring him home to Arsenal. I really hope he doesn't go to Man United. I think he'd fit in really, really well with Erik ten Hag. Juliana says that she's going to be in Baltimore. Juliana, enjoy it. Unfortunately, you won't be there, it doesn't look like. But we will be in Orlando, and of course there will be loads of people out in Baltimore as well, which will be incredible. Counter Schiller says, are any club going for Cody Gakpo? Not that I've really seen. I think maybe Leeds were linked. Raul says, Raul maybe says Jesus. Sorry, what am I talking? I'm reading another comment. Tielemans is a Flemish name, not French. Oh, I think he's telling me that this is why I should be pronouncing the S.
Ah,
Fair
right.
enough. Will Jones, the Super Chat, says, Savic is highly physical and skillful. He's a great playmaker and scores goals from midfield. Get him. I'm not sure which Savic he means there. Oh, Milinkovic. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. That's what he meant by Sergej earlier.
What about all that time we was linked with a while? What's happened there?
Well, this is
the
what...
whole summer we was...
This is what I don't understand. You want a player all summer, and then a year later, then 2 years later, it's...
this
Strange,
is what I'm saying about Arsenal, so that's, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. KD says, I agree with Lee. We need proven players now in the upcoming transfers. That's why I didn't agree with your list, James. We need Serge, Tiedemann, proven players. Right, so this is my list, okay? But what everyone needs to understand... Actually, before I read them out, I really should finish these. What everyone needs to understand by my list of 5 alternatives to Raphinha was I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Arteta and Edu, who have clearly set a particular criteria, which is around 25 years old, Premier League experience, versatile, can play multiple positions. But the key one is, and we've seen this with the Raphinha stuff, they weren't willing to go above 50 million, or at least near the 55, 65 million mark. So we know that we've got to get them for around that £50 million
that's
in that bracket.
Right,
So that's why names like Serge Gnabry and all them, I would love Serge Gnabry at the club, but I think it's going to take more than that personally. I know he might have a year left, but at least the wages will be high.
Yeah, but
rightly so. He's a very good
rightly
player.
so. You know what I mean? When you're paying out £100,000 a week for Eddie Nketiah, you know you ain't going to say to Serge, come to the Arsenal and be on 110.
Yeah.
The facts are you've gone high with a young novice sort of a player, and that's not a criticism at Eddie. That's what he is at this moment in time. He's unproven.
Yeah.
So, but you've gone in £100,000 a week without. Serge Gnabry's coming here. If that was me, I'm saying I'll come to you, but I want double what he's getting because I'm a main man. You know, so I think Arsenal put themselves in a little bit of a predicament by doing that. But ultimately, I don't think like you're going to be paying 40, 50 million for Gnabry. I'll be very surprised. He's got a year left.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is he can wait another 6 months. You know, listen, Gnabry's not going to get much game time there now after they've signed Maguire. They've looked to replace him, you know, so they will sell him depending how much it goes for. Like, you know, look, we might be in for Gnabry. Who knows? Let's be positive.
Ryan says, James, give the judge a shout out. Some in the chat have mixed him with another. Who here doesn't know Lee Judges?
Yeah.
So, you know, come on. If you don't, it's Lee Judges, the one and only. Wayne says, don't worry, James. That Pika Thomas has no idea what he's talking about. Oh, the super chat from Reddit. Jesus has made 20 more appearances than Richarlison for Brazil. Yeah, we looked at the numbers.
We looked at the numbers. It's not a great deal, is it?
But also, what I will say, I don't know, the guy said I was talking rubbish, so why am I defending him so much? But what I will say is, I think the chat recently has been around Richarlison has been more the guy that Brazil have turned to, and he might have rocked up a lot of those appearances very recently. So it's all well and good saying Jesus has more appearances. Richarlison might have made 20 in the last 2 years to Jesus' 13. I'm not saying that's it, by the way.
100%, and I agree with that. And one of the reasons being that Richarlison plays on a regular basis where Jesus wasn't, but Jesus sort of played the last 5-6 games. Jesus now will get regular first team football at Arsenal. I think this is a key point. Richarlison, who I think is a very good player, when he goes into a team meeting on a Friday, he knows at Everton he's playing. Now, when he goes into the Tottenham one, it's not going to be 100% sure. Circumstances have changed now. When Jesus goes into the team meeting now, he knows he's with the number 9, big target on his back, he's going to be playing.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope Gaming says, you guys just said Richarlison is better than Jesus. I have clips, don't kid yourself. Okay, let me just correct that a little bit. No one just said it. It was said a long time ago, probably a month ago, when discussing players that were available potentially to pick up. And secondly, I never even said it. So I just want that on record.
Never. So, listen, I want it on record. I was asked a question.
I want it on record.
I was asked a question, who would you prefer? And I would have preferred, and I'll still stick to this at this moment in time, Richarlison, because I like his nastiness and his aggressiveness. I think it's something that's lacking with Arsenal. And I like a little bit of, you know, shithousery. I do. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't like Jesus. Actually, and I've said it before and I say it again, I wanted both. You know, I mean, that's what I want. Because he's gone to Spurs doesn't mean to say he's a crap player. And
we can't suddenly be going, oh, he's not very good.
No, I don't like. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that we got Jesus because I do like Jesus. But I do like him. I did like him at Everton. Now I don't.
Godley says, James, mate, Jesus has been playing for Brazil since 2018. As of well, he's saying recently, Richarlison has taken his spot in the team. Jesus doesn't start. Godley, I appreciate you. Definitely would have sent in that super chat before I said everything I said, but that's exactly that's what I was alluding to. That maybe he recently took his spot.
But as I can continuously will say this, like, you know, Jack Grealish is the best player in the England side on the wide, but he doesn't play. Yeah,
well, there's that as well. Malcolm with a comment says Jesus was a backup striker for a team that didn't have one. Malcolm, you know that is, you know, horribly simplifying the situation. So
it is a point that's been raised, but towards the end of the season, when it mattered, Jesus was playing.
That's exactly it. I think that argument stands more if he hadn't started at Anfield, started against Real Madrid in the semi-final, started against Liverpool in that crunch Premier League game. Yeah. Jesus was called upon for massive games. Yeah. Whether it was up front or on the right, it doesn't matter. They play a very fluid system, Man City, and he was able to do it from multiple positions and score big goals against Liverpool, assist at Anfield, goal against Real Madrid. You know, for one of the best Premier League sides we've ever seen. Please, can we just stop trying to discredit this guy and saying he couldn't get in the Man City team? It's a joke. Juan says, lead judges the transfers. Nothing wrong with that. We should sign proven defensive. Yeah, very good. He's trying to catch us with a name. Unless that actually is a name, in which case slightly unfortunate. BD says, Arsenal should be chasing these players. Yusuf Attal. Yeah, good right back. Very attacking right back. Orkun Kochu. Teji Savanya, never heard of him personally. Have you heard of Savanya?
No.
Okay. For midfielder wings, Carrasco, Hunya, Pablo Sarabia. Pablo Sarabia is a nice player, but Pablo Sarabia would be very similar to Fabio Vieira and Martin Odegaard, who we already have. Only the good die young with the super chat says, Jesus is our marquee signing. I would be pleasantly surprised if we make another. Yeah, there is that. Listen, I really like Jesus, as we've been saying, but I hope he's not the main guy, because we need quite a few main guys coming in.
Yeah.
Gearshift says, hey James, what about this? 4-1-3-2, Ramsdale, Tierney, White, Gabriel Tomiyasu. I like that back four. A defensive midfielder with, he says in defensive midfield Partey, then Gnabry, Smith Rowe, Saka, Gakpo, and then Jesus. It's a very attacking team.
What's that for the first game of the season? What about the next 20 games after that when Tierney and Partey are not there?
Well, okay, there you go. There's your answer.
That's what I'm saying. And when people go, oh, we're being negative, and that is what happens time and time again with these guys. That is why this transfer window has got to get them replaced. Not replaced, but when they are injured, we've got players that come in and go, do you know what? We ain't missed Partey today. We ain't missed Tierney. We missed him too at the end of the season. Cost us tonight. You know, I know it cost us because I watched it.
Yeah.
The transfer window is open now. Address it, Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. I want to address this comment as we enter the last minute. Manus says, all you English fans are stuck up with this Premier League proven pure arrogance. So, Manus, let me just say, I agree that I think there's an arrogance that generally around the Premier League's the best league, and whenever we sign a player who's maybe a little lightweight, they're just thrown with the old, can they deal with the pace, can they deal with the physicality, can they deal with this and whatever. And actually Guardiola came in as a manager and said, forget your two holding midfielders and your your big 6'3" powerful players. I'm going to play Fernandinho with De Bruyne and Silva, and I'm going to win the league with 100 points. So I do agree that there's a certain bias or certain narrative around kind of the Premier League and English football that is just complete overkill. However, signing Premier League proven players is not an arrogance. That is the league we play in. That is the league that we've got to compete in, and we want to know that whoever we're investing our money in, Arsenal could be investing a lot of money this summer, is going towards players that are closer to guaranteed results than other players necessarily. Now, when we signed Nicolas Pepe, his highlight reel couldn't have been better. His stats couldn't have been better. Now, I actually do think that Arteta's not used him particularly well, not used him in the right position, and maybe not given him a fair amount of game time necessarily. But still, when he has had a run in the team, when he has played, he hasn't looked not at the pace this league. He's just not looked good enough. And I think that is where you talk about Premier League proven. It's so that Arsenal can make a quick start, because before you know it, it's Friday night, we're playing Palace, and we're all going, oh, we're not ready. Well, part of being ready is having the players that are ready too. So I appreciate your comment, man. I think there's a bit of truth to what you're saying, but I don't think it's an arrogance thing wanting to sign players that have done it in this league.
You've got to have players. You spoke facts there, like you've got to have players that are Premier League proven, because that's the league you're playing in.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Ryan with Super Chat says, Judge, do you think Ben White has been overpriced? Saliba was one of the best in France last year. Who starts? That's great. Who's your centre-back partnership for the opening day?
Ben White and Gabriel, because they're playing. Ben White is a good central defender, right? Let's get this right. I like Ben White. I think he's a very, very good. Is he over? Yes, of course he is. £50 million. If we'd have gone into 25-30 million, Brighton weren't going to sell him. We had to go over the top to get him, and that's what you have to do if you want players. Now, why do that with Ben White and not do that with Raphinha or whatever? I don't know. Maybe at the end of it, they knew that Ben White was desperate to come to Arsenal, so they was prepared to go that over the thing for him.
I bet the list will play a part. I bet whoever you've got below Raphinha and whoever you've got below Ben White as alternatives will also spark, whether you're actually willing to pay that bit more, because maybe the backups aren't adequate.
I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be really honest. If you want my honest opinion, we paid over the odds for Ramsdale, but turned out to be a good signing. Like, Ben White is under pressure every single time he plays for Arsenal, because people start going, oh, it's 50 million. We all know that we paid over the odds for him. We paid over the odds for Pepe. Hasn't worked.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I like to think of it like, when we paid over the odds for him, did we pay over the odds for someone like Tommy Asu? No. So you make it up on swings and roundabouts, So, listen, the best midfield player that we've that's ever graced the Premier League and has graced Arsenal cost us 3 million something in Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
Transfer things don't really matter, but it seems to matter when you sign someone like Ben White. Everybody wants to beat the stick. Oh, he's 50 million, whatever, A little bit like Harry Maguire. Is Harry Maguire worth 80 million? No.
And he never was.
He never was. Never will be. But ultimately, to get him out of Leicester, that's what they had to pay. We had to pay that for him at Brighton. So when you sign these players, sometimes you have to go a little bit above and beyond.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't. But at the end of the day, Ben White, yes, good central defender. Did we overpay for him? Yes. And I don't think that's a criticism, by the way. I like to embrace that and go, yes.
Yeah, I think it's not for me. I think
showing our transfer muscle.
I just think it becomes a problem when ultimately you're picking the resources to go there, where maybe it could have gone somewhere else, and then maybe you're saying, it's what was the actual cost, and I don't mean the money. I mean, what did you not get that you could have as well, if that makes sense? Could we have got a central midfielder and kept Saliba? Or I'm not saying that would have been good.
Yes, that's a great point. I mean? That's a great
side of it. But
that's a great
point.
Ben
White. I like Ben
White. There's a great
point
that we could have done that. That's a terrific point what you're saying there. But and I'm not going to argue with that point.
Fair enough.
Because that's a great point.
Oh, thank you. We're going to round this off now, guys. Hey says, would you guys be happy with Zaha coming in? Is he now a bit old for Arsenal? If so, how much would satisfy Palace's transfer fee? I reckon you could get it for 40 to 50.
He's a year left of his contract. I like him.
Probably less than.
But the profile of player now, he probably is too old now. That's a great point that he makes.
If you're going for the profile that we addressed, guys, I was going to read the list to lead judges, but I'm not. I'm going to tell him after, so that I can send you guys over to that video and have a little look at what, remember, fitting the criteria that Arteta and Edu have, what alternatives are there for Raphinha. That video came out midday today. Go have a little look at it, and go have a look at all the content on DR Sports, from the transfers that are covering football generally, to the Wimbledon content, to the Euros that's coming out next week as well. There's lots going on. Opportunity cost, Dan, thank you. You studied economics, love it. Okay, gonna round it off there. Like this video if you're enjoying. Lee, a big thank you. Really enjoyed this today, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.